You've tuned in to another episode of the Adeptus Terra podcast, hosted by Sam,
and
Matt,
welcome
and
to
Neil.
the Adeptus Terra
Put your feet
podcast,
up
episode
and enjoy.
September
85.
85. It's quite a lot, isn't it?
Creeping on.
It's quite a lot. Maybe we should just finish at 99.
just leave them on a knife edge of if 100 will ever happen.
That's fine. I think I've got another year in me yet. we could wait. We could stop.
We've got to hit 100. There's no way in hell this stops until we hit 100. You're locked in.
99. I reckon I'm going to stop at 99. Maybe we should skip it and just say 99 and then go to 101.
That's season 2, episode 1.
Yeah. Well, anyway, hello. This is episode 85, Bloodline of the Firstborn. And the title kind of gives away a little bit of what we're talking about. But let's just go straight into the bits that we need to introduce. So we have a community-led painting challenge currently going on the TATP Facebook group, which is TATP Community Safe Group.
You're hot this morning. So it's the TATP Community Challenge.
Damn it.
And it is on the Facebook Community Safe Room, which is Facebook.com/TATP Safe Room.
That was close.
Right, cool. Hi, I'm Neil, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Introduce
That's
yourself.
also a thing. Hello,
Introduce
I'm Matt.
yourselves.
We're all here.
What? The main host was introduced.
I will also put in, you never said that you were Sam, but by now most people should know your voice.
Should know my dulcet tones.
But yes, this episode is a bit higgledy-piggledy. We're squeezing it into a very tight month in terms of availability. So who knows what we've recorded already, when it was. You may be able to tell different energy levels due to the times and days of recording. But here we are.
Here we are indeed.
And I'm excited. So yes, the TATP Community Challenge. We need to run through some bits of it. If you've never heard about it, you can get the event pack, well, not an event, is it? The rules pack, I guess, of the Community Safe Room. I believe it's available on our full group page as well. It's been a while. It's been up there for a couple of months now.
If it's not, then
we
it
can
will be.
sort it out.
Yeah.
Ultimately, if you cannot find it, message us, email us, get in contact, however, through Instagram, Facebook, one of the page or the group, or email us at the adeptusterrapodcast@gmail.com, and we can make sure you get hold of that. It's a monthly challenge where we're stretching our painting with certain techniques and different focuses for each month. So August was the first month, I believe. I'm correct in thinking this, right?
Yep.
We've only done 1 month of this so far.
Yes.
We're in the second month. Good. And it was an open category. So that meant you could paint anything up, and then you would post following the rules in the event pack. We won't run through all those now. And then at the end of the month, a poll will be created with everyone's entries, and the community get to vote on their favourite, and then we get a monthly winner. At the end of the month's challenges, which I think take us to the end of January next year, we will then have a poll of all the winners for the kind of grand prize. And that's the rough rundown of the community challenge. So as I said, August was an open category, so people could just paint whatever they wanted, whatever they were working on. And these are those who completed in August. We said each month we'd call out those that complete, as well as obviously highlight the winner. And then we're going to talk about what the next month/months, depending on where the podcast falls, on what we are painting towards. Words, morning. Thing.
Yeah, it is.
Stuff and painting.
Yes. So we're going to run through the list. So we have Adam Friend, who did a guard character. Alec Grieve.
Sorry.
Sorry for anyone that gets their name mispronounced. Did a Harlequin Star Weaver.
It's the man with 2 first names.
Brian Dennis. Yes. He painted a Dread Cossack.
What's that?
I have no idea. I can't remember. So the cool thing about this challenge is it's not limited to just 40k and Heresy. We've kind of really tried to open it up to all models, all aspects of the hobby. as well as I want to just add in here as well, and you can read this in the rules pack again, works in progress count. So if you've been
Yes.
working on something through the month that fits that month's category, it doesn't need to be a fully finished piece to be an entry. Okay?
You know what this means? I could put a tiny bit of paint on a
You
primed
could.
model. There you go. There's my entry. Neil's
could.
completed something.
Yes,
Ha
indeed. Not completed, you've entered something.
No. It's complete.
Ish.
Sure. So yes, Brian Dennis did a Dread Cossack. Chris Parker painted a wizard, because you're a wizard, Chris. Chun Tien Yu painted a Necron Wraith. Daniel Audsley painted a Curse City Ghoul from, I believe, the Curse City box set. This is always one that I get wrong. Giles Siro painted a Space Wolf Blade Guard. Jock Ostafadel painted a Blood Angel Ancient. That was a phenomenal paint job. I remember that model specifically. Ken Reynolds painted a Tau Pathfinder. Liam Denton did a Krieg Soldier. Myself, Matthew Rose, did a Chaos Cultist. Mike Parker painted a Dark Angel Assault Intercessor.
Also a Chaos Cultist.
Yeah, it's funny how those two things go together. It wasn't on purpose or anything. Patrick Polius painted a Stormcast. Now, this was really cool to see. Patrick's daughter painted a Necron Overlord.
Did
I
she?
believe they might be the other way
no.
round.
Yeah, no, it's the other way round.
But yes, that was really cool to see, and hopefully we see more from Patrick's daughter. I think she got quite a few votes as well.
She did. She did really well.
Then Paul Spuddy Shaw did a Reaver Lord Arcus, which might be his name. This is a 30k character for Black Shields, I believe, is a Reaver Lord. Tanel Valtson. I don't think I've ever said Tanel's surname.
I just call it Tanel. We know, people know who we're talking about by now.
Yes. Painted a Curse City Werewolf. And Tom Parsons did a Necron Overlord. So thank you very much for all you guys who got something completed and entered with the white background for the photo and all the stuff that you can read about in the rule pack. Hopefully we get a similar number, if not more, for this month that we're currently in. Now's the time to highlight our winner, which was Chun Tien Yu with his Necron Wraith. It was a really cool paint job, kind of a bluey green, silver paint job, scratch marks everywhere, and really striking. I believe it had like a big red eye in the middle. It's currently our banner picture, because one of the kind of monthly prizes is that the winner of the month gets to have that image as our banner on the community safe room.
I added his name to the,
did
the
you?
picture
Cool.
at the banner. So if you go to the banner, you can see his name and what it is as Necron Wraith.
Yes.
I did that on top of a mountain. So pretty
Well done.
impressive with that.
Well done.
Good old iPhone editing.
Tech support everywhere. Right, so we should talk about this month that we're in, as well as I thought next month, because by the time we record October,
Yeah.
we're obviously way into the October challenge.
Yeah.
So the way it works is normally the Sunday of the hobby hangout that we do, at the end of that is the cutoff point. Now, this month is slightly different because we've had to move it a week earlier. So I believe the end point for September will be a couple of days after this comes out and will be the end of the 26th, as per usual for a hangout. And in October, it'll be October 31st. So there's still time to jump on the September challenge. This month is a new technique that is new to you. So it doesn't necessarily need to be some crazy thing. It's just something you may have never tried before and giving it a go. So I was hoping to do oil washes, but in my true unorganized style, I didn't get around to buying the stuff. And by the time it comes, I just won't find the time next week to actually give it a real good go. So I am going to be putting forward my transfer stuff that I've been doing.
Where are you going?
Which team?
Yeah,
which one? Are you going to the Master of the Forge?
Those
We're going
days
to
are
transfer.
gone.
We'll have Adam.
Oh,
Oh, no, we'll have Jason. Jason does all the tech. Means I don't have to anymore. Strategic.
Oh, mate, can you imagine just me and Adam trying to do a podcast?
I think Adam used to edit his podcast.
Yeah.
And then Jason came on and was like,
I've got
I'll
it.
do it.
I'll actually edit the podcast. But yeah, so I'm going to be doing my transfers for the Ultramarines. I'd never done transfers before until last month. So I'm going to do some more on the Predators, and that counts. As I've spoken to the powers that be, that still counts. It's not a new thing that you must have only done in this month. It's a new thing to you, and that's kind of as open and generous as possible.
So I could say putting paint on my model was a new thing for me.
No, because you've done it before. Many times.
Have I, though?
I've seen those models.
Stop trying to get out of it, Neil.
Yeah.
Painted before. So I'm going to do oil washes.
You are going to do oil washes.
So I at this point have not done oil washes, but I have an Amazon Prime subscription. They sell most of the stuff on there, I believe. So I just need to paint a model and then oil wash it in the next week.
No, just oil wash one of your Blood Angel tanks. Done.
Yeah,
It doesn't need to be a model from start to finish.
Yeah, I know, but I kind of want it.
Or one of your guard tanks.
What I was going to do is I was going to paint up one of those orc terrains, and then do that because I could paint up one of the smaller ones. Like it's not.
Yeah, one
just,
of the rubble.
Airbrush it today,
pieces.
then I can paint it on the hobby hangout tomorrow, and then oil wash it in the week. But so oil washes, I need white spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Odorless thinner.
Is that not the same thing?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
You can
have done it
use
before?
white spirit. It's fine, but I would honestly get a list from people who do it, whether it's Frosty or Tanel.
I've asked
Tanel.
Tanel like 5 times, and he has not sent me a list.
Yeah, I think Mike might have put something up in one of the group chats
Really?
about here's a company that do a set.
So there's
But-
Bob Ross does a odorless dinner, so I might get Bob Ross
Yeah,
odorless dinner.
sure.
It's only
And
$4.95.
just make
Yeah.
some fluffy.
I believe it's
little clouds.
Windsor Newton is the company most people use for their oil paints.
Yeah, so I got those as well.
you need a
so-
specific type of oil paint.
Well, I've got this one.
Yep.
Which
yes,
is,
I
which
believe
is,
that
which
is
is
correct.
black.
Yeah.
And then they do also
What black
do
is it?
lamp black.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. There's
Um,
another black that's really good.
How much do you need? Because like
Not a lot.
200 mil would be quite a lot, right?
Yes.
They last a very long time.
They do a 37 mil one, but they don't have it on Prime. So, oh no, actually, to be fair, they'll deliver it today anyway. Okay, just gonna buy it all now.
So oil washes for Sam.
While Sam deals with that,
Yeah, so that's what we're looking to do. It's only a week or so left, so it's really just jump on. Hopefully, guys have been already doing it. Moving on to October is another open category. So I believe what James and Alan, who generously have set up this challenge, have done is kind of given open options and then steered people towards trying something new for them. Or later on, we've got that 3-color challenge. I believe OSL challenge.
see, I'm intrigued by this, the 3-color challenge.
I don't understand. Is
I don't
it just
know-
3 colours?
Is
Yes.
You
No,
only
no,
use 3
no.
colours.
Yes.
So it's a case of I could take a green, a brown, and say a blue. White and black count as values, not colour.
What? Say that again.
Right. So we need. This is what we need to establish with them.
It's
Do
I
white
think
and
I know,
black
but
count
yes, they do.
as colour?
Yes.
That's not going to work.
Yeah, because you can mix the different colours you use. Or make sure that white is one of the colours you're using.
We'll get this. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I think OSL is another one. But in between these kind of more specific months, we have open categories where people can just kind of paint what they like and stick it up. So that's going to be October. So that's giving you a heads up for the next month. So you can get yourself all set up and think about what you're going to paint and then get it up on our community safe room. Yeah, I think that's everything about the community challenge. It seems to be going well. It was a nerve-wracking month of August where before the last couple of days there was not really any entries and then everyone came out of the woodwork, which makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the end of September and onwards for everyone's really cool entries.
Cool.
But
I'll definitely going to enter something this month.
It would be good.
Yeah, I'll try. Cool. So next hobby hangout, we've kind of already done it. So there is one this weekend, but this episode won't go out till after that. So October 31st is the next hobby hangout. It's been run by Matt. I should be around actually for that.
That'll be cool.
And then with the final segment of this episode, for some reason it's in here is the book club, where we talk about Bloodlines, and then our spotlight is going to be about the Vostroyan Firstborn.
Indeed.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Because in my head I was practicing.
Vostroyan.
Destroy.
Fluffy hats.
Fluffy hats. Anyway, let's go straight into News from Terra.
Anyway, yes. Sprue Corner, gentlemen. I actually, the other day, this was literally like maybe yesterday, I started to put together a Night Lord character. So a while ago, I picked up the champion model that comes with the banner guy. Forge World kit. It's like a 2-piece kit. No, it wasn't that. It was the one that comes with, I believe, the Master of Signal. So it's like a Master of Signal and a champion kit.
Right.
And Ben, our friend, needed a Master of Signal for his Imperial Fists, and I wanted the champion. So we kind of split that. And I've had that torso and leg kind of piece just sitting there for a long time. So I finally thought I need to do some building. I haven't got any building to do for the Ultramarines, and I have just felt like putting it together.
Fair enough.
So it's, the champion torso and legs. He's got 2 Mark III plastic arms and 2 resin, I can't remember what the mark is, power axes. The reason that being, he either plays as a Vigilator who's got a headsman's axe, which is a 2-handed weapon, but he's using 2 smaller axes because he's a choppy executioner, because he's a Night Lord, so they don't do everything the same way as everyone else. Or a Praetor who has divining blades, which is again paired weapons, and blades is nondescript, so these single-handed axes fits that bill. And he's going to have a jump pack as well. So yeah, it's looking pretty cool. I just need to get a Night Lord head, shoulder pad, and jump pack. I believe I may have the jump pack sitting somewhere in my pile of bits. I need to go hunting for it. I probably need to find a head and a shoulder pad, or just purchase some. But yeah,
shoulders, knees and toes.
Knees and toes. But yeah, I'm quite glad. The other day, I think when we played our 2K game, was that last month? No, 2 months ago. I realised that actually, if like Sam can play his Blood Angels, it would be better if my Night Lords were at least playable. And since I've changed them and sold off some stuff so that I could buy stuff for the Ultramarines, I don't actually have a full list right now. So I think I'm going to start investing a little bit more into the Night Lords just to get them playable. And then I can maybe slowly paint them up in the background once the Ultramarines have been ticked off. So yeah, so I built a Night Lord character, which felt nice. I haven't built anything for a while.
Okay, so technically, I didn't write anything down here, but technically I have actually built something.
Is it an IKEA cabinet?
No, it's not.
If it was one of the glass cabinets, it certainly counts as hobby.
Does it count as hobby?
No.
Yeah, hell yeah, you're putting your models in it.
Anyway, sorry, Neil, what have you built?
So, they have brought out the Warhammer Imperium Collector's Magazine.
Yes.
Yeah, so I looked at this. So Liam and Tom Liam's collecting it and shilling it to Tom. So I looked at it. We talked at great length. So one of our Tuesday hangouts, like we do it in person. It's not a hobby hangout. I was so close to doing it. Like,
oh, really?
It's so good. You get so much.
It is definitely worth the price. That's one thing I would say.
Yeah.
Whether you get what you want, whether you get what GW wants you to have is a bit different.
Well, yeah.
But then if you're just a general collector, right, it's probably perfect. If you are building a list and buying those units, it's not going to work that way.
Not quite.
But I still think it's like, even if you get rid of the Necron half, because it's Necrons, Space Marines, Sisters Battle, Mechanicus, and then a shed load of scattered terrain. Effectively scattered terrain. There are some buildings in there, but it is scattered terrain. And I think even if you just collected the Imperium side and sold off the Necrons, you'd be able to sell it. And as long as you weren't trying to get more than what it's worth, because I remember last time that these came out, people were starting to try and shill all the paints, and people were like raking them over coals for it. As long as you were like, I got these from here. It cost me. I worked out it was 4 issues, so this cost me £10 to do. I'm selling it for £10 plus P&P. I think that's relatively okay. I'm just trying to find what's in it. Yeah, I can't see it. Sorry.
So the first one is a Blade Guard lieutenant who has a Storm Shield and a Relic Volkite pistol.
Nice.
And the Necron has a Relic Gauss Blaster, but that's all I can tell you.
Because he's a shiny robot.
Because he's a shiny robot.
And weirdly, he looks
cool.
just like the other shiny robots.
So, yes, what have you built out of this?
So
so
I've
far?
built the lieutenant.
Nice.
Yeah, that's about it.
Cool. So you're going to feature in your Blood Ravens?
Yes.
Awesome. That's cool.
One day.
One day.
One day.
One day. Sam, what have you been up to in Sprue Corner?
So I went to Mecca. So I went to Warhammer World.
Had a sad time in Forge World.
Had a sad time in Forge World. Forge World had nothing.
They don't really exist at the moment.
Yeah, nothing, which was quite surprising. Maybe they're just not printing new stuff.
They did say a long while ago, I thought they might have started again, but maybe not. They did say they weren't going to because of shortages and the amount of people they could have with all the restrictions. They couldn't produce new kits.
Yeah.
So they were just selling off back stock and things. Whether they're still in that mode, I don't know.
But I wanted to buy my 2 Stompy robots for Mechanicum Force to make it a super cool 3K. But they didn't have it. So instead, I bought the new Kill Team box. Equally as cool.
I had to spend money.
Well, do you know what? And I won't say this too loudly because she'll hear. But I only went in there for the Space Marine Codex and the Blood Angel supplement. Because I was like, I kind of stand on the point at 40k right now where I really want to like it because it's kind of roots. It's where I came from, and I really want to at least play it. I may not like it, but at least understand the game and play it. And so I needed the Codex to do that. And I've got to admit, I'm a little bit disappointed with the Blood Angel supplement. There's 8 units in it. The Blood Angel is a specific one, so it makes sense. So there's 8 or 9 units in it.
And Marines painted red, my friend. Welcome to vanilla.
I know. So don't get me wrong, the list I've built, the way I used to run Blood Angels, there wasn't many, I didn't take many specialist units anyway. I took majority of Assault Marines, some Bile Preds, which are in there, and Bikes, which are all vanilla anyway. But I think it was a little bit of a disappointment that they've decided to cut out all of the basically make the book half of what it was, or even a third of what it was. Don't get me wrong, the fluff is quite cool, being able to read through and kind of catch up where the Blood Angels are at this point in time. I read through all of that. That was really cool. Read through all of the rules for Blood Angels in there, and it kind of made sense. I read it with the Space Marine book as well, so that so I wrote a couple of lists while I was away. Getting more and more happy. I did post them to a group, and I did kind of feel that they were sort of going on to that's not optimum. You should take these. You should take Death Company because they're really good. And I was a bit like, yeah, but it's themed around how I want it to play, and not what's going to punch face. And maybe that's the 30k player in me coming out.
I think it's probably just we've always sat in the middle of those two camps, I would say. Mm-hmm. We always want a list that will be competitive in the same way that will give your opponent a good game, right? We always want to have a good game that means that either person could potentially win.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean when I say competitive. But also, we are very themed in our lists, and we have an idea of what we want to bring to represent a certain either lore topic or the way that character fights or the way we see that army fighting. And that's never going to be the same as Optimum. It's just never going to line up because the lore and the rules do not line up.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do a Flesh Terrors force. I think it's time to branch away from main fanboy and go to slightly deeper red fanboy.
Emo goth phase is what you're doing.
which I had that in my teens, so why not do it now?
Midlife, you are 30 now.
I am 30 now. It's a midlife crisis moment. I'm going to grow my hair long.
You got old.
And I got old. And of course, my 30k force is based on the origins of Flesh Terrors.
That is very
so
cool.
I was like, it kind of all links up. It does sort of play into one another. And so I wrote a. I'm trying to find it. Where had you even find?
So you're counting this as I built a list.
Hey,
I'm just making sure it's in the right area because we do talk about games and gaming.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Technically, that's where list building goes, but we'll go with it. We'll go with it.
So I'm starting with writing 1,500 point lists. I think it's a good kind of small enough to have a game, not like mental. And I think it sits around 70 power level. I think that's how I wrote it. But it's all kind of going crazy. Honestly, Battlescribe has got super weird recently.
It's not recently, but it is such a good tool that I just kind of deal with it.
And the other one just doesn't work anymore.
Does Quartermaster just not work anymore?
It doesn't want to play.
Oh, is it because you haven't paid for the latest update?
Probably.
That's what happened to me. They went, there's a new update. And although you've already bought this, you don't get the update for free. You need to buy the update like everyone else. You're basically a new person again. And you're like, why would I pay you money then? Like, especially when there's a free alternative.
Yeah.
Like,
which, all right, it's a bit weird, but it does work.
But it's because they want you to pay and block out the adverts and things which are taking the loading times and everything else. Perfectly good business strategy, really. So I'll deal with a bit of slowness and a slight weirdness if it means that I get the tools that Battlescribe give me. That's, really good. I enjoy using it.
So my list. So I've got 2 HQs. I've got one Primaris on one Chaplain Primaris on a bike.
Okay.
I've got a Primaris Librarian.
Yes.
I've got 2 Assault Intercessor Squad, 10 man. A Heavy Intercessor Squad with Executor Bolt Rifles. A Death Company Dreadnought.
Nice.
Because fun.
They're fun, yeah.
An Outrider Squad, which has 3 Outriders in it, and an Eradicator Squad with Melter Rifles.
Oh, okay. Interesting. You've gone for Eradicators.
And a Dreadnought Drop Pod.
For the Death Company Dreadnought.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw it at the enemy.
Fair enough.
How
Does
I
he
used
need
to play.
a Dreadnought Drop Pod? Used to be box dreads could go in normal drop pods. In Dreadnought Drop Pods were for Contemptors or larger.
Oh, I'll check that out. When I spoke with James
might save
about
you
it,
some
so
points.
James does that. That's
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I'm going to get a normal drop pod. It won't be a Dreadnought drop pod. I'm not spending like
it's a lot of money
quid
for a drop pod.
Which is 70 points.
Yeah.
So that's one list. That's just shy of 1,500 points because I took some stuff out to rebalance it. I've got 80 points to play with, which I think is quite nice to play the game with that force and then kind of make a bit of changes. So the idea would be the Chaplain on the bike would go with the Outrider Squad. The Eradicators will just sort of start on the board and do what they do best and eradicate.
Walk up.
Walk up and...
That's one of the big problems with the Eradicators. You have to buy... If you want them in a transport, you have to buy the expensive one because they can't go in the cheaper one. I always forget what way around the names are because they're in a certain type of armour.
Pass.
Yeah. I remember looking at them and thinking, these are phenomenal. Put them in a repulsor or whatever one it is and drive up, get out, burn stuff to death. And it's like, they can't go in that because they're in whatever the beefier armour of Primaris is. Like they're not in Phobos or
Gravis
they're in,
or whatever.
That's it, Gravis.
So the reason I've gone with a full Primaris force is because Gabriel Seth. There we go. That was that. Good remembering, Sam. Pat on the back.
That was very good.
So Gabriel Seth, at the point of pre-Guilliman turning up, was effectively trying to run out the clock on his Legion. Was not not reinforcing them, not finding new supplicants to be able to put them through and to have them change. He was effectively trying to suicide squad
His chapter.
Yeah, his chapter, because he saw what they had become and was like, "Hey, this is probably not cool. We should stop this." And so when Guilliman turned up and they had this whole kind of reinforcement, he was actually very against being reinforced and very against having the name of his chapter continue.
Yeah.
So the idea that I've got in my head is that he has segregated the Primaris Marines away from the original Marines to kind of try and tamper the storm or prevent them from going full rip your throat out and eat you that the Flesh Terrors already have. So the idea is that there won't be any crossover units. There won't really be,
other than a Death Company Dreadnought.
other than the Cavalry. Well, so you can have Primaris Death Company.
Yes.
Because the floor is still there. So I don't know whether or not, and this is probably something I need to look up, can a Primaris body go into a standard box dread?
No, I don't believe
Or
so.
do they have to go into
whatever it's called?
Redemptor? So what I could do then is, because I don't have a Death Company dread, is make one out of a Redemptor.
That would be really cool.
That would be so
I'm
cool.
on board now. Let's go. Let's do it.
We need to find bigger.
No, that's
claw.
fine.
Bigger
That's
claws.
not that hard.
But so my whole plan is to basically make it so they're segregated away from the original force, and there they are, the new Flesh Terrors, effectively.
Yeah.
And as the force progresses, I think I will probably buy some Death Company Marines, and obviously the floor is still there. So I think having the squads drop into Death Company would be quite cool, and maybe have effectively a mirror of one of my Intercessor squads be a Death Company squad, and
That'd
have
be
them
cool.
sort of like merge over into that. But yeah.
Okay.
I've also been reading the rulebook as well to try and understand how this works, and I'm basically going to try and stay away from match play as much as possible, because I don't really like the way that it works.
Interesting.
So I'm going to try and go more narrative play,
Yeah.
and just force people to play with me.
Yeah, well, I think the interesting thing about the narrative play stuff is that it's not that restrictive in terms, you can still do pickup games.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be this big campaign where you have to move forward and use the full Crusade rules. You can play Crusade missions that are still pickup games.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of our guys are doing that already.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, and I spoke with both Liam and Tom, because Liam and Tom have played it more than anyone else in our group, and Tom's very kindly offered to sort of, when I get a force, start small, we'll start some games up just to kind of get used to
That'd
it.
be cool.
And the same with Liam. Liam's getting super into 30k, so he's kind of like, will you show me how to play 30k? And I was like, yeah, if you show me how to play 40k,
That's cool,
that kind of works. And we'll do kind of some crossover games. So I'm really excited about it. I don't understand the 40k app. So you got
Let's
the
not go
codes. You got the codes in the back, and I don't really know what it gives you when you use the app.
So, well, you put the code in and then it gives you the codex
Yeah, but
on the app.
I've got a book.
Well, because then you don't have to carry a book around. If you're at a point where you're not having to look at the book that much,
Yeah.
but you need to reference one quick thing, being able to whip out your phone and find that rather than, I've got to flip through a book.
Let's be honest. Us two are never going to get there. You might, Matt.
Yeah.
Sam and
I will always have my book with me.
Sam and I.
And I'll be like,
To be
right,
honest-
hang on, Death Company page. Hang on.
I find books easier to navigate anyway.
Yeah.
Even if I'm having to flip through a page, I feel like I find it quicker than flicking through an app. Unless it has a nice search bar, which not all of them do.
I guess we'll just see, right? I'll play a few games of it. I've got the codes. I put them on my phone, so I'll see if it works out. And I'm excited to try.
I'm excited for you to be excited, because I feel like I'm 2 steps behind you.
Yeah.
There's a Thursday night hangout group chat of all the guys that are often there on a hangout, and they were talking about a game and going through strategies and, if you take this stratagem, or if you do this, or you do this. And I was like, 40k is so muddled. Like, it's not like I bring this character, he gives this unit buff, done. You know what I mean? Like, it's that whole argument of simpler. It's not.
So I was talking to Tom. He's been to a couple of events and tournaments and stuff, and I was talking to him about this, and he was saying, look, to start off, don't play stratagems. Just learn your army, learn how they work on their own, and then just start adding layers of stratagems in.
Totally, that's a good way of learning, but ultimately to play the full edition as it's supposed to be played, they're all things that you need to learn. And it's not that they're hard to learn, but it's just those different layers. It's just it's a different game.
Yeah,
Actually,
from what we've played.
It's really cool. It is a different game, and it's learning a new game. But just watching them comment and backwards and forwards and be like, this cancels out this, and if this guy's within 6 inches, he gives this aura to them, and like, flipping heck. I was just like, it just made me go, ugh.
I'm so confused already.
Yeah, not like I grasp what they were talking about.
Part of that, I think, is because we're not playing.
Yeah.
So perhaps those kind of conversations happening, it's like if we were talking about 30k to someone that's never rolled a dice before.
Yeah.
Like it's new and it's confusing because it's new. Yeah. So I do think I want to learn to play. I want to play so that I can make a better judgment on whether or not I like it. An actual judgment, yeah. Rather than old man shouts at clouds.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's very dangerous, this conversation, to come across as, thinking back, like the comment of like, welcome to Vanilla Marines, as if like I'm bitter or sour about it. Like it's just a different way of doing things, and I'm sure it has some really awesome things. It's still 40k. It's still going to be fun, especially if you're playing with people that you know or just are a good person.
Yeah,
like really, that's all that matters. So it's just a different system.
I'm more excited about painting a new army, to be honest.
Yeah.
It would be really cool to paint.
Yeah.
And
I think that's another thing. I'm just not there. Like, I was chatting with, I can't remember who it was now, but about like Space Wolves, and they were like, "Oh, when was the last time you played Space Wolves?" And I was like, 4 or 5 years ago now, probably. And they were like, "Well, how much have you got?" And I'm like, "Not a force. I pretty much have no Space Wolves. So, like, it'd be starting again," which is exciting, but I haven't caught that bug. Like, I haven't gone, I want to do that yet.
Yeah, and I think if you look back onto when we started our 5,000 armies, it was because we were playing.
Yeah.
Like, and I do think the driving force, again, it's what finds your motivation, right? Me and Neil were talking about this yesterday. Mm-hmm. It's what motivates you to paint. And what motivates me to paint is playing games.
Yes.
Because I feel like I have something to paint for. So painting towards this competition, painting towards the event we have next year in March, painting towards completing my ZM because I don't want to give it to you. It's all finding reasons to paint, because ultimately I'm not an artist and I don't find painting relaxing.
Yeah.
So like if and maybe it's the activity, like I find watching YouTube videos and playing one on a computer more relaxing than I do painting. Painting feels like effort, whereas actually it shouldn't feel like effort. But for me, it does, because that's not how I relax yet.
That's interesting.
Anyway, let's move on. So I went to Warhammer World. I've started collecting the Chaos coins now, because I've got so many Imperium coins that I thought I needed to actually start weighing this out with Chaos. Corruption is there. And I was buying these codexes, and I was looking at the big box wall of Kill Team, and Kelly was like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's Kill Team. It's a 40k game, but slightly different rule set. It's meant to be like pick up and play and much smaller." And she was like, "Oh, okay. What's that box?" And I said, "Oh, well, that's where you get the rules, the campaign of those rules, some terrain, and 2 armies that you can basically go and play." And she was like, "Oh, why don't you get it then?" I was like, "Well, it's 120 quid, so it's quite a lot of money." And she was like, well, it's all right. We're on holiday." I was like, Nah.
Can I just take you over here and show you the Stormbird?
She knows that I want a Thunderhawk.
Yes.
She's like keeps telling me no, I'm not allowed to buy it. But yeah, so I was like, okay, well, I'll put the codexes back then. Like, I shouldn't really buy those as well. And she's like, well, no, we're on holiday. Go on, just buy it. So I bought it, and I read the rule book and the campaign book while I was on holiday. The rules are, again, different, and I think part of me thinks they've gone different to make it feel like it's its own game, rather than different to need to be different. So like all of the movements are like circle.
Yes.
So, like for instance, they've got this like tape, like the measuring tool. On one side is a circle, on one side's a triangle, one side's a square, one side's an octagon or something like that.
All right.
And it's
so
like
you move that shape.
a circle,
I
and then
see.
that's effectively 6 inches or
Yeah.
whatever. So why they can't just say
6
6
inches.
inches is beyond me. Beyond them just going, we need it to be a bit different.
I think it might be that they want to actually create a new game that has a whole community playing it, like a Necromunda.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was really an add-on to 40k.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, you don't want to play full games, play some 40k, play some Kill Team. Sorry.
Yeah.
Whereas now it feels like they're kind of going, look, this might be your game, and you just play Kill Team, and you become a Kill Team player, like there are just Necromunda players.
Yeah.
And then there are people who will dive into all three.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a very interesting way to go because it takes a long time to build that kind of community.
Yeah.
Um,
So my plan with it, my plan is to paint up all the terrain for one, and then build both factions. So I've got, obviously in the box came Orcs and Krieg. So it's to build both factions as how I would run them individually.
Yeah.
And then effectively have 2 starter forces that I can be like, hey, Matt, let's play a game, or hey, Neil, let's play a game of this, and run it like intro games to it, because I think I'm going to get foam for it. It's all going to live in that single box, and it's just going to be like a board game and getting that board game out. And it should be quite cool.
Yeah,
That's my plan.
I'm excited to try Kill Team more than 40k right now.
Yeah.
Because I still have enough models in my multiple forces that I've kept to play it. Like I've got Catachans that I could put out. I've got enough Space Wolves to play Space Wolves. I've got a bunch of Tyranids, and I've still got some Orcs. So I can play 4 factions day one.
Yeah.
So if I really enjoy it, then that might even be like a thing that I choose to do and just go, okay, well, box up the bigger forces. I'm going to paint these 7 Gene Stealers to my best of my ability. I'm going to paint these 7, 8 Orcs or whatever to the best of my ability, and they'll be my kill teams.
Yeah.
You know, and if I really enjoy playing Kill Team, maybe I will become that Kill Team player. And again, if that brings that bug back, then maybe 40k can grow again. But I'm just not there to. I don't feel ready to jump into that.
So I think with Kill Team, you need the rule book and then the compendium book.
Yes, that has all the races in, right?
Yeah, so they've got the core rule book, and then they've got the Kill Team compendium, which has 19 different factions in there. And I think what that does is then allows you to play everything from day one.
Yeah.
And then from what I understand, each box game is like a campaign.
Yes.
And it has either updated, I haven't actually looked, whether it's updated rules for those factions, and then you can buy those books. But I can't see that you can buy the Kill Team, so the
Obscurus,
Orcs.
isn't it?
Yeah, Obscurus. I can't see that you can Octarius.
Oh, Octarius.
I can't see that you can buy the Octarius book, so it can't just have the rules for Krieg in there, because otherwise you'd have to buy a £120 box set just to get the rules.
Yes, yeah, no, that makes sense.
So it must just be the compendium.
It'll be the compendium for all your base things, and then they may go in the campaign. Here's a new unit for that race.
Yeah.
You know, that wouldn't surprise me, you know, because then if that's your race and you're really dedicated to playing the Kill Team, you're going to buy the box anyway. It'll come with the new unit and the new rules for that unit. So it's just a thing that would happen naturally. But if you don't play that race, you don't need that box.
Yeah, I think so.
And you're not losing out because you're not getting new rules for your, you know what I mean? Because I'm worried that they're going to go, here's a campaign, and now if you've got this campaign book, it has the rules for how to bring a HQ unit that they did in the old Kill Team.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so like here's a way of getting. So I believe the base set, like you couldn't take like 2-up armor save guys.
Yeah.
But if you bought the campaign book, you could start bringing Custodes, and that allowed you to take 2-up armor guys, as well as all factions were suddenly allowed to as a balancing act. But you didn't have those rules unless you had that latest thing.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So that's my only concern with it. That if they go forward and go, well, for this campaign, you can bring HQ units. And if you've got these rules, you can do it in any of your Kill Team games. But you need the rules. It's just going to end up with a lot of people PDFing that page
Yeah.
so
yeah.
they can bring a HQ,
Yeah.
which seems counterproductive for Games Workshop, in my opinion. But yeah, we'll see.
So yeah, I'm excited. So I've got those, and I have built the terrain pieces in that box.
You showed me before we recorded. They look awesome.
Yeah, and actually, it's kind of sparked a love for terrain again. Like, and we're talking about different terrain pieces before and converting terrain pieces. So yeah, that was a roundabout way to tell you what I've built.
That was a cool long story. No,
Yeah,
it was,
long story,
it was
bro.
nice. So painting table. Let's keep going. So for me, I base coated 10 flamer. What they call a flamer section for my solar auxilia.
Are they? Are you going to airbrush the models? Or are you painting them by hand?
Airbrushing. Well,
Airbrushing.
airbrushing and painting as
Okay.
usual, but yeah.
Okay.
So they're all base coated Incubi Darkness.
Okay.
So it's like a very dark green.
Mhm.
I tried out Incubi Darkness over black for a couple of my Ultramarines, and the blue comes out a little bit crisper because there's
Okay.
that green undertone underneath rather than a black.
Okay.
So that was quite cool. So I've done that for these guys. Now these guys are actually mainly silver, but there are going to be spots of blue to tie them into the Ultramarines. So yeah, and I didn't have a black, so I was like, well, I'll use the Incubi Darkness. So they're all base coated. I airbrushed 3 Predators with both their blues. So that's 3 out of the 4. The 4th one needs a tiny bit more work. It is base coated, but when I was looking at it, I was like, I think this was like an eBay purchase. So the 3 that I've done were all new kits that I built. The 4th one is an eBay purchase, and as I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, there's a few bits that need like filling and tidying up. So that one didn't get airbrushed this month. And then I did transfers for 4 of the Ultramarine tanks so far. I'm hoping before the end of the month, the 3 Predators will all be transferred up, and hopefully their silver's done, which is, I guess, a spoiler for the end of the episode of what you can expect from me. But yeah, some decent progress, all basic and simple, really. But it was nice to go, those 10 men are ready for airbrushing. These 3 tanks are ready for detail work, and that's them. You know, like, it felt progression actually happened rather than I did a bit of stuff on this one vehicle. Like, it was nice to see that many models go forward.
Cool. I painted a ZM tile.
Well done.
I think in the last episode, I made the grand statement that I was done with red and I was just going to paint it grey. I painted it grey, and now I've immediately decided that it doesn't look as good as the other tiles. We had a game day, which we'll talk about in a bit, where we used my ZM board for one of the tables, and I saw the red and I was like, man, I'm going to have to
Does
paint
look
red.
good.
It does look good. So I need to, my next step is to figure out how I can quickly paint lots of red.
Rather than I need to tape up the entire thing.
Yeah. So I don't, and part of that might be getting a smaller needle
Yeah.
to prevent overspray or to
So the
tamper
red is in
overspray.
the archways of the walls.
Make a
Could make a plasticard template, maybe.
yeah.
You get a bit of overspray, but are you painting around the edges anyway?
Yeah, so I'm
Does
just
the
going to find a
red,
photo.
do the red
Show
get
me,
silver edging?
Yeah, because you could use a stencil blocking plastic card
Yeah.
template, whatever.
Just hold that up, boom, and
Yeah.
then tidy up your edges.
Yeah, as long as you don't spray
I don't have a
That's it.
photo of my tiles.
Yes.
spray away from it, possibly.
I don't have a photo of my tiles, unfortunately. Sorry.
I'm shocked.
I know, me too. Like, I definitely had photos of these tiles. Anyway, whatever. They're in the attic. I
I mean,
can't show you.
when you painted that one tile, it was a while ago. It probably is in the photo.
No. I've got 4.
Yeah, but
Tiles
that
painted
was
red?
Like,
Yeah, a while ago.
it was like before the start of the summer, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was quite a long time ago.
Yeah.
So only 100 more to go.
Do you know what? It was,
What is a 4x4? Is it 16 tiles?
yeah.
So you've done 4.
Yeah.
And the 4 fully done, or you've just done the red on 4?
No, fully done.
Okay, cool.
Only 12 more to go before
Is a quarter done?
before
But More
becomes
importantly,
mine.
I took a photo of the paints so that I know what the order
That's
that I
good.
painted them in.
Well done. Well done.
Yes, because I'm smart.
See, you show me those paints. I had issues with the game color reds.
I might try and figure out. Yes, you can kind of see it's the archway, so the rest of it is grey. So I need to, and they basically need a stencil that basically just needs to be straight on, but then I need to spray it straight on. But then I can't do that on all of the sections because there's obviously the walls are
You want to go kind of. Personally, I'd go top down, like kind of zenithal angle, because you can. If the stencil's flush at the bottom, overspray won't matter as long as you build the stencil long enough at the bottom.
Yeah,
like so it almost goes kind of curves onto the wall.
Yeah.
So then you're not getting any paint on like the floor piece or the panel underneath. And then if you slightly miss the top, you can go in with a brush or you just leave it and cover it up with some grime.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll figure that out. So I painted a ZM tile red, don't like it. I painted the ZM tile grey, don't like it. I'm going to repaint everything red.
Yeah.
So it will be glorious, and it will be done in 4 months.
Yeah. So I mean, the grey was there as a speed thing, right?
Yep.
So